Normally, we'll see one or two bats throughout the cave, but it's rare for the caves to be sleeping in groups like you see here, because they like to stay off at the quiet caves. There aren't people in and out of them. They're 1.5 to 2 inches big, and then they have another 2.5-inch wingspan on either side, so they look a little larger when they're flying.
Bats are fairly common in the caverns and are quite harmless to humans. And don't worry, it's a myth that bats will fly into your hair. Bats benefit humans when they fly out of the caverns at night, where they eat large quantities of insects.
Come sundown, he'll be out hunting those mosquitoes, about their body weight each evening.
Two other rare cave creatures which occur at Florida Caverns State Park are the blind cave crayfish and the cave salamander. Both of these animals are aquatic. Other cave creatures include the slimy salamander, the wood or pack rat, and the cave cricket.
Here's a special treat. We have a cave cricket right there on the ceiling. Some people mistake them as spiders because they have very long antennas. We have a very large collection of soda straws here. Baby stalactites are called soda straws because they're hollow in the center, just like a drinking straw. Once the center fills and they begin forming on the outside, then they're officially known as stalactites. We've nicknamed this area New York City upside down. We call this room the Rimstone Pool because of this rimstone pool that resembles the continent of South America. At certain times of the year, the center of the pool will fill with water. As you enter the tunnel, if you look to your right, you'll see a thermometer. The thermometer will read 65 degrees because that's the temperature in the cave year-round. Welcome to the waterfall room. The waterfall room is named for the flowstone featured in this area. Actual water that is filtered through the limestone above us flows down the side of the flowstone and then fills the rimstone pools in front. And this is my favorite formation in this cave. This area here resembles the Grand Canyon, and this formation resembles the Tower of Pisa.
It's hard to believe the ocean once covered Florida, so as you make your way through the cavern, look for fossils like these seashells. Here's a nautilus or sea mollusk, and here's a shark's tooth.
We're now entering the enchanted forest. People love the fact that they can see the formations so close. This is the original entrance room. The cave was discovered by a gentleman named Oliver Chalfont who was surveying the land. He noticed that a tree fell over, and where the tree was, its roots took up the earth with it, leaving a hole in the ground. He decided to crawl down to the hole, and this is the room that he entered, thus discovering the Florida Caverns. That was in 1937. If you look straight back there against the far wall, you'll see a small pile of rocks. That's the original entrance to the cave. We call this room the cathedral room because this formation here resembles a cathedral. The rimstone pool in front of our cathedral is actually filled with water. Here we have a large carrot patch, and some people believe that this formation resembles a Thanksgiving turkey. This is our column or touching post. This is the only formation that we're allowed to touch. Notice here how black and pitted it is. That's from the oils and the impurities on our hands from people touching it. That's one of the many reasons why we don't allow people to touch any of the other formations throughout the cave. What we're looking at here is the original floor of the cave. When the CCC, the Civilian Conservation Corps, originally entered the cave, they had to crawl from room to room on their stomachs. It took them about 4.5, almost 5 years to chip the limestone pads that we were walking on. They used pickaxes and carried the rock out by hand. They were paid $1 a day. The area that we're entering now is known as the catacombs because this area resembles the catacombs beneath Rome. Can you imagine being in the CCC and having to crawl through this area? We're now entering the round room. This large pile of rock that you're looking at here was once originally part of the ceiling, but it collapsed. This is referred to as breakdown. The rocks actually collapse and then the formations begin to form on top of the rock. You see the stalagmites here and the stalactites overhead. This formation here is translucent. People say that the draperies resemble large slices of bacon. This is an extraordinary find. Here is a really interesting formation featured here in our round room. This is a helictite. The easiest way to remember helictite is that it twists, just like a helicopter. We're not really sure how helictites are formed, but some people attribute the twisting and the formation of a helictite to wind currents.
This concludes our video tour of Florida Cavern, and it's our hope you'll take the time to experience this beautiful natural wonder on one of our guided tours.